carried a goat's head. It was just a decapitated goat's head, and I carried it up the stairs to put it in the fridge. Hey guys, welcome back to the Under the Spotlight podcast. I should really have a spotlight. Just hit my head when I say that. Probably be cringe, but that's fine. Anyway, welcome back. If you're watching the video version, which you should, it's available on YouTube and Spotify, you will notice that I'm in a different location from usual. I'm back home in Germany because I'm on my Easter break right now. So this is my childhood bedroom with the very stereotypical turquoise walls I feel like everyone had when I was a kid. And I hence, that's what I was thinking of. Anyway, that's why my setup looks a little bit different, but nothing else has really changed. Still gonna be doing my makeup and chatting my way through it. Oh my god, I got this comment on my TikTok the other day that I'm fluent in Japanese, and it's actually the funniest and probably most accurate thing I've ever gotten on my TikTok. And I feel like I should make that my saying. I am fluent in Japanese. I don't shut up, which is why this podcast is perfect for me. I was visiting my family in Romania last week, which was really, really, really lovely. I thought I'd give a little recap of what's been going on in my life. The last time I filmed was my last week of uni before my Easter break, not forever. Or we had a lovely little party before we all broke up where people got a chance to share some creative work. I shared a poem. One of my friends shared this incredible poem. And yeah, a bunch of people shared some work, which was really, really cool, really fun to see. And yeah, that week I was also feeling so homesick, so incredibly homesick. I was so sad. I watched the movie Interstellar, which I've talked a little bit about homesickness and grief and stuff before in previous episodes. I don't want to sound like a dead horse. That's definitely not what it is. I sound like a dead horse. What? My brain is broken. I don't want to sound like a broken record. A dead horse? What am I on? Anyway, I watched the movie Interstellar. Great movie. Spoiler alert, though this isn't really a spoiler because it happened at the beginning of the movie. Basically, the dad, Matthew McConaughey, leaves the daughter, Mackenzie Foy / Jessica Chastain, to go save the world, and he goes off to another planet or whatever. And when that happened, the dad just leaves, and she knows it's gonna be for a really long time, and he knows it's gonna be for a really long time. She'll probably be grown up by the time he sees her again. It just made me really sad. Because it made me think about my dad and how much I miss him, and that whole thing of once you leave home, you've probably spent most of the time you've spent with your parents happens before you leave, which is really sad to think about. So anyway, what was really nice is my dad, my sister, and I met up on the flight because I had to fly into Germany, which is where I live, to then fly further to Romania because there's no direct flight from Manchester to Romania. So what was really nice is that my dad and my sister met up on that plane. My mom couldn't come till a little bit later because she had to work, and we just chatted, and I gave them a little life update on the plane, which was fun. I was the queen of Japanese and fluent in Japanese, and yapped on all about my life on the plane. But it was really nice seeing them again, and it was what I needed. But it made me think that was me not seeing my parents for 6 weeks. My sister luckily I'd seen 3 weeks before, so I didn't miss her as much. But that was me going 6 weeks without seeing my parents. Most people don't even get to see their family that often, and there's no way I probably will be able to sustain seeing my parents that often if I stay in the UK and I'm working, not just a lucky uni student who has a good amount of holidays, which made me even sadder and cry more. I cry, I bawl fully, not for 3 days straight, but every day for 3 days. And it would also be trying not to cry in class. Though, there was other stuff going on as well, but I just really, really missed my family, which amplified everything else, or everything else amplified that. I don't know. And then spending time with my family in Romania was also so nice. I got to hang out with my cousin, stayed at my grandparents, spent so much time with my grandparents baking. My grandma is the most incredible storyteller as well, and I kept making her tell me not even make up stories, which she used to do for us, me and my sister when we were little, but fully just tell me stories from her life and her childhood and my dad's childhood and everything. That was really, really nice, and we baked together, and it was just so nice, super fun, very relaxing. So I was there for a bit. We had Easter as well, which I celebrate 2 Easters, because Orthodox Easter, which I'm technically Orthodox even though I'm an atheist, but Romanian Easter basically, and other Orthodox countries, Easter is different from Catholic and Protestant and whatever other religions Easter. We celebrate Catholic Easter because that's what my break is, and my great-grandma was Catholic, so technically I'm an atheist Catholic. We celebrated Easter, which was really fun. Oh my god, I carried a goat's head, oh my god, should I put in the picture? You know what? I won't. But if you really want to see it, DM me on Instagram. I'll send you. But it was just a decapitated goat's head, and I carried it up the stairs to put it in the fridge. So that was traumatizing. It wasn't actually traumatizing, but I'd never seen just a goat's head, and it doesn't feel real. It's really weird to think about. Okay. I'm getting ahead of myself, but it's really weird to think about. You see images of a decapitated head on TV, whatever. I'd be terrified to see that in real life, but seeing a goat's head decapitated, because I saw the picture of it Oh yeah, wait, I didn't actually see it in person. I just carried it up, but it was in the back, so I didn't fully see it. Wait, no, I did see it. I did see it. But seeing that head, like, it was a jump scare, but it was like seeing the image. It didn't feel all that different. I don't know if that makes any sense, but like, I think it's really hard for our brain to compute images versus real life in a way, because technically, pictures especially are like an advanced technological invention, which we were never really supposed to like have from like, you know, our creation when like humans evolved. So like, why there wouldn't be something in our brain for us to compute the difference between images and reality, especially because nowadays images look so real. They look exactly like they do in person, if not more clear. Isn't that crazy? The pictures we see are just more clear sometimes than like what we can see with our own eyes. Also, what I think is absolutely crazy is I never really think about this, because if someone's like, picture Earth, I can picture Earth, right? I imagine the Earth, like the green from the Earth and blue from the ocean and the white from the clouds and whatnot. I've never actually seen that, but I think like for a lot of people, at least in my brain especially, my brain thinks I have, because I've seen images like that my whole life, because I've never existed in a world where, you know, humans haven't been to space and everything. That happened literally like a year after my parents were born. Like, they barely existed in a world where humans didn't have pictures of what space looks like or what Earth looks like from space. So in my head, I've seen Earth from space and I know what Earth looks like, but really, I have no idea what Earth looks like because I've never actually seen it. I think about that every once in a while. I find it crazy. I'm sure some people are just like, yeah, so what? Also, I'm not a flat earther. I believe in the Earth is round and everything, but like, technically, I've never actually seen proof of it. And I'm sure someone could explain to me the proof that the Earth is round that I could understand from being on Earth, not seeing Earth from outside the planet. But technically, I lack the knowledge to understand, or at least maybe not the knowledge or the brain, but like, I lack the information at this point in time to understand why the Earth is round, not flat. So technically, I'm just believing that stuff. And I feel like there's so much technology these days that like humans, especially Gen Z and like my generation, just like do not understand. Like, do I understand why I can airdrop a picture from my phone to my dad's phone and it just gets there? No, I don't understand that, obviously. I just accept it as true, which is fine, because it is true, it happened. If there was like an apocalypse and it was just Gen Z left on this planet, which to be fair, we are young, like the oldest of us are 30, right? I'm 19. I think this world would fall apart because there's not enough like brainiacs who actually understand how everything we have, technology we have in the world works. I don't think that's just true for Gen Z. Like, I think that's true for a lot of people. If a good portion of the population was wiped out, knock on wood, we just wouldn't know what to do. Anyway, back to my holiday in Romania. Yeah, it was really nice, really relaxing. And then these past couple of days, I've been back here trying to do some work, trying to like do stuff for uni. We've talked about it before. I'm such a bad procrastinator and I really procrastinated stuff. I finally started working on everything yesterday. I did do some work before for other stuff, but the main thing I have to work on, I have done work for, obviously, because it's the hardest thing. Why would I start that? I think I actually have a video on my YouTube channel that has tips for procrastination, which work if you do them. But I think the thing that gets to me always is how much effort it is to not procrastinate and like just be in a good routine where I'm actually like getting shit done, not falling behind. Or I'm usually not behind and I'm good at meeting deadlines. I always get the work done. I work quite hard. It sounds stupid, but I can't fathom the idea of not working hard in the sense of like, if I didn't do this properly and put all my effort into it, all the skills I have into it, like I'd feel really guilty. I don't know if guilty is the right word, but I'd feel really shitty about myself. Like, I get things done and I work hard and they usually turn out like at the very minimum the level they're supposed to be at because I'm committed to it and everything. I just leave it to the last minute and then get very stressed and all my relaxation isn't real relaxation because I'm stressed while procrastinating. Anyway, I've talked about that before. The hardest thing is just sticking to that routine because I try to get into the routine of doing something like every day, because if I do a little bit every day then I'll keep doing it because I don't want to ruin that like streak, I guess, of having done it every day, because I know if I do I'll be back at square one of never doing it. But I need to find a balance of like doing it but not having to do it every single day, because if I have to do it every single day I get really burnt out, so then I try to do it during the week, but it hasn't been working great recently. Anyway, one of the things I want to talk about today is the expectations for love and relationships that rom-coms and like even books and romantic stories create in the real world, which of course I've been recording for 20 minutes and I'm finally getting to this topic, though to be fair, usually when I've been recording for 20 minutes it's not a 20-minute podcast yet, so it's fine. fine because I've been back home the past couple of days. I saw my best friend recently and we had such like a long, deep chat. We were literally sitting in my car, or my parents' car, outside her house for almost an hour, honestly, just chatting about this. And like literally we had our doors open for a good while trying to get out, but like we kept just talking on and on. I'm sure you've been there. Oh my god, it's such a Romanian thing. I'm sure it's like true for other countries as well, but like when people leave your house, you know, you have the first goodbye, let's say the dinner table where we're talking, then you have the goodbye when you like are in the hallway, then you probably get distracted, start talking again, then you say goodbye again because you have to leave, then you have goodbye as you're leading them out to their car or whatever. It takes a long time to get people out of the house in Romanian culture. So yeah, we spent ages talking about the thing, and one of the things we started talking about was the expectations, rom-coms especially, but also just like romantic novels, you know, any movie really creates for love in this world, because I think relationships in the real world are so different from the way relationships are shown on TV. And I think TV really prioritizes this idea of like finding the one and meeting the perfect person for you who like you never argue with, you never have conflict with, like clicks with you perfectly, whatever. And I really don't believe that's true at all. I don't believe in soulmates. I think like different people have different compatibility with each other, and the biggest part of a relationship and its success is like communication and working hard. Like relationships take effort, and I think rom-coms show this idea of like, oh, it was so effortless, we just get along perfectly and there's no issues, no fights, so this is the perfect relationship and we're so happy and we're gonna be happy forever. And that's simply not true. And I think like you have to be in a constant state of communication and dedication, and like on both sides have to want to make a relationship work for it to be successful and for it to last at all. But I think because of rom-coms especially, I think this has always been true with like books and romance and everything, but I think especially with rom-coms and those like perfect love stories, that's not what people expect or want anymore. Like people sometimes I think can be looking for, or like can be a little bit deluded by this idea of finding the perfect person for you where it just clicks and works perfect. And even my friend was talking about how she, for a while, like before she got in like her first relationship in high school, she didn't really want any relationships because even like when people liked her, she maybe liked them, it was always awkward and weird and uncomfortable, and it didn't feel like it clicked like it's supposed to, which like now she realizes that doesn't work. And yeah, I find it really interesting. I think it can be a bit damaging to society. Rom-coms are damaging to society. I think they can be a little bit damaging in that way. Oh my god. If you're not watching the video version, sorry to mention it again, I just applied way too much blush to my face and I now look beautiful, obviously. Like I read a story quite a while ago actually, where someone was talking about how their relationship, like a relationship with your partner, might not be perfect. You might not even be happy together half the time. You might have conflict half the time, but what makes it worth it is if you love each other and you work through these things, and even if less than half your time together is happy, the happiness of that is worth it. It creates this more complicated, interesting truth, like depth, I guess, to love, where getting married or like committing to someone for life and all of that isn't really about finding like the perfect person or finding the one or finding someone you're completely happy with all the time, but finding someone where the bad and the troubles and the conflict and whatever issues you may face as a couple, because all couples have issues, the good outweighs the bad. Not in like even like a toxic kind of, oh, I'm happy enough with them sense, but really in the sense of like, is it worth going through this life with this person who you love so much and makes your life better, but also makes your life more complicated and gives your life more work? Because relationships are work. Your life is going to be harder if you're in a relationship as opposed to single and being able to do whatever you want. And I think for a lot of people that is worth it, and that's why I think the way love is shown in a lot of movies, not all movies, but in a lot of movies and TV shows these days, is very inaccurate, because love isn't always just like this pure passionate kind of thing. And I think even in relationships where like say you've been together for 30 years and the love you have for each other isn't the same anymore, and you don't feel that like passion anymore, you don't feel that. This is me saying this, I've never been in a relationship with anyone, but obviously I'm an expert. If you've been together for 30 years, maybe you're like not madly in love anymore and the chemistry and the passion isn't the same. Like if you're best friends and you're happy together, or even if you're not, if movies are presenting that situation, they'll show it as like, oh, but they're best friends and they're always happy together and they have so much fun together. But even if it's not that, but if you have found like your person, or not even your person, but like a companion in life where like even if you're not happy all the time, even if the passion isn't fully there anymore, even if you're not always able to communicate, like where a lot of the time, or even just a fraction of the time, but like a significant enough fraction that makes it worth it for you, you're happy together, then that's still a successful relationship. And like, I think, especially in the Western world, which is what I know about, but like generally, I think there's this idea that love should last forever, marriages should last forever, and if they don't, they've failed. But if you spend like 10 years of your life happy together, or even 2 years of your marriage, let's say you spend the first 5 years of your marriage super happy together, and then the next 5 years of your marriage, like raising a family together, happy together, like working together, like a partnership and like a bond and a family together, even if you're not fully happy all the time. And then you spend the next 5 years of your relationship, and your relationship kind of either falls apart or, you know, disintegrates, or, you know, the love and the passion, all of that fades away to the point where like there's not enough of it anymore to keep going. And then your marriage ends after those 15 years. You spent the first 5 years like incredibly happy. The next 5 years happy and with your family, or even like, you know, family doesn't have to be the source of happiness. Let's say you like create a project together and that's your source. Like whatever it may be, you spend the next 5 years happy together, coexisting together in a way that like you're happy a lot of the time you're spending it together. And then the next 5 years maybe aren't as happy. Like you still had a great 10 years of marriage, but B, like a successful 15-year relationship. How many people can say they've been in a relationship for 15 years and then also can say, now is the time to end it, now is the time to move on? It doesn't mean we don't love each other anymore. It doesn't mean we didn't love each other at some point, but it just means that like your relationship was great for you for that moment of time and that amount of time, and now isn't anymore. And that's not to say I don't, because my grandparents have been married for 60 years and they're really cute and they're really happy together and they love each other so much. And that is not to say they don't fight, because they do. Sometimes it's a little funny to watch because they genuinely do fight like an old married couple, which I think is really cute. And they've also both like shared their fair amount of, you know, hard time. Not even like, I don't know about their love life or like any difficulties they could have had in their marriage, but like I know their family history and like everything that's happened and like the difficulties they faced and everything that they've gone through together and apart, and things that might have like been a struggle for them or things that they got through only because they had each other. Their relationship has always taken effort and love and, you know, patience and kindness from each other, and sometimes like people don't have that, and then even then, like if they weren't patient with each other, they still got through that. If they weren't happy all of the time in their marriage, they still got through that. It's amazing to see how much even now where like they're less able to because they're old, they still try to take care of each other so much, and there's like they have so much love for each other, whether that is like the passionate, like madly in love. I've told the story of how my grandparents met. I think in the last episode, actually, I gave a brief overview of it, but at the beginning, I'm sure they were madly in love and passionate. I'm not saying all that went away. They might still have some of that now. I don't know. It's not my relationship. But I'm sure that's not the foundation of their marriage anymore, but that doesn't make it any less of a beautiful marriage, even now if they're like just companions in what they have left of this life together. And I think is really beautiful. And oh my god, there was such a cute moment where I went downstairs and they have these like 2 chairs in their bedroom, armchairs, like just big, like comfortable chairs, whatever. And they were sitting there side by side, holding hands, watching TV, and it was so cute. I was like, I took a little picture of them. Oh my god, that just brought tears to my head. Anyway, that's not to say that in life I don't want, you know, to find that kind of love, to find the love that my grandparents have and, you know, find my forever person and like be with them forever and whatever. I would love that, honestly. Just because I have these views doesn't mean I'm like perfectly like attuned to them. These are my like kind of factual thoughts of like, oh, this is how relationships I think actually work. In my brain, in my little romantic brain here, I still like want to find that perfect true love and get married and be happy and live happily ever after and be passionate 50 years in marriage and everything. I definitely still want that. I just don't know if I'd find it. I'm definitely not saying that I wouldn't struggle to, you know, maybe accept the fact that after 5, 10, 15, 20, however many 2 years of relationship has, you know, disintegrated or isn't working anymore or isn't right anymore. And that doesn't mean I wouldn't struggle to find like the beauty in that or like the appreciation for the love we had for each other. Anyway, I'm sure I would. Divorce or separation or breaking up or any of that, like it's really hard and it's really messy. Obviously, I'm saying all that, I've never experienced it, but like I think it is really challenging, really sad. But I think there's beauty to be found in appreciating, I don't know, the love you have, remembering the love you had for each other and the nice time you've shared together. I think even when I like, you know, maybe watch a rom-com or whatever, I'm like fantasizing about the love I could find or like meeting the perfect guy and just falling in love and having it be easy and having him be like the perfect boyfriend, husband, partner, whatever, and just having like a wonderful, perfect relationship. Not to say that like rom-com relationships are always shown as perfect, because there's always obviously conflict, but I feel like the ending conclusion in rom-coms or in like TV shows with romance in them are like, we sorted everything out, we don't fight about this anymore, you know, I've learned, let's say one of them has learned to be more respectful, the other has learned to communicate better, whatever it may be, and you kind of get past those issues and then you have like a good relationship. I think rom-coms even do like a decent job of, well, I think some romantic stories or TV shows or whatever do a decent job of showing conflict and like how getting through it and showing that there's always conflict in relationships and everything. But it does still sort of send this message of like 99% of your time together should be happy and you should match each other perfectly and there shouldn't be awkwardness and you should just know that they're the perfect person or they're the one for you, which I obviously think is not that realistic. Even when I like, you know, go to sleep and have my little go to sleep time fantasies about having the perfect person or whatever, when I'm imagining that, I'm imagining that kind of like perfect love story. And then even if I am imagining like the conflict, I don't know if everyone does this, but like when I'm doing it, like sometimes like I'll imagine like whatever conflict or fight we might have and then we work through them and then we learn how to communicate and then we're happily ever after. And the only conflict I feel like I ever imagine or like things I'll find easy to work through, I think people just have very, including myself, I have unrealistic expectations for how a relationship should be. And I think the issue with that is that I'll just lead to disappointment when I do finally get in a relationship, if that ever even happens. I think it would be really interesting in like media and in books and movies and TV shows and plays to explore more of those ideas, which, you know, I could do myself if, like, as an actor. I think that'd be really fun to portray. But I will say, when I mentioned something I read once where she was talking about how even if we're not happy, like, more than half the time, we love each other and work through it and manage to be happy with each other for a good amount of time that makes it worth it or whatever. Sometimes thinking about that, or when I first read it, it made me really sad. I was like, you should be happy together more than half the time, but like, and maybe you should be, and like, I think it's that kind of thing where you have to decide, is this amount of unhappiness or this amount of like work or effort or fighting or trouble worth the time together where we are happy, or even worth everything else that the relationship gives me? Because it's not necessarily just happiness. It might give you security, it might give you comfort, it might give you a family. And, you know, I think people are very quick to judge even this idea of like staying together for the sake of the family or staying together because it's easier for your family or something. But you shouldn't stay together if you're miserable, or I hope that most people are able to make some sort of choice in that where like they can find happiness or choose to be happy together. And if they're not happy in their marriage, you know, make the choice to move on from it. But I think if you're not in that relationship and you're not in that marriage and you're not that person, I don't think we should judge someone who does choose to stay in a relationship where maybe they're not in love anymore, but they want to preserve everything else about that relationship. That is an individual choice to everyone, and everyone has different ideas of like how they want to live their life and different priorities for their life at different times in their life. And maybe, you know, they're at a point in their life where being passionately in love or whatever is not the main priority. And that's where I also think it gets really interesting. I feel like I was going somewhere else with that, but I can't remember, so oh well. I feel like at that point it gets really interesting to think about, like, I don't know if I could ever be in like an open relationship or like a polyamorous situation, because I think I would just get jealous. I don't think I could handle it well. I don't think it's for me. Who knows what I'll think in, you know, 5, 10, 30 years from now. I think that's where it gets really interesting to explore different types of like relationships and marriage. Because even marriage is a social construct. It's something created not even like just by the church, but by society, and this idea that you should marry one person and be together for the rest of your life. And that doesn't work for, you know, statistically 50% of people for various reasons. And I think that's where it gets really interesting, where you explore like, maybe you stay with your partner for 30 years and then after 30 years, if you're not passionate anymore, you find someone else for your passion, but stay with them because they're still your best friend. And then I think people are quick to judge that. But if that's bringing you happiness and that is the balance you've found in your life that fulfills you, as long as you're not hurting anyone else and you're like finding, like being honest about it, obviously, and like finding ways to make everyone involved in that happy, I don't think there should be anything wrong with that. But it does get very complicated. I think it can be very difficult. Like I said, I don't know if I could ever do that, but I think it is really interesting, and I think people are very quick to judge. Less so like nowadays, less so my generation, I would say. It's one of those things of like not letting society kind of tell you what to do, or just living by the rules society has imposed upon us, that people, however, still talk about less. Because I think the ideal golden standard these days is still like find your forever person and get married. Not for everyone, and not as like necessarily a requirement in society to be an accepted part of society, but it's still like the ideal, or it's idealized or considered to be like the best way to live. And like I'm definitely a part of that because that's what I want. I'm not saying I'm above it all, because I'm definitely not. But I think it's really interesting to consider and explore and like have discussions about different forms of relationships and different ways of being happy, different understandings of what it means to be happy in a marriage, especially with my friends. I actually, like, in my old friend group from even now, a lot of my friends' parents are together, which I find shocking. Like, I don't really know that many people with divorced parents. My parents are still together. All my closest best friends' parents are still together. My entire friends group parents are still together. But even, like, from talking to them, I know there's different levels of, like, traditional, like, marital happiness they have together or whatever. And, like, each of those marriages is very different, I'm sure, and functions in different ways. I don't know where I was going with that, so there you go. Wow, lost that thought completely. Oh my god. Anyway, I think from seeing all of, you know, my friends' parents and even my parents, like, in relationships, not every single one of those parents, from, like, my impression or even, like, what I know, and I don't know that much, obviously, 'cause it's their own business, is necessarily in that, like, perfect state of, like, oh, we've been together for 20, 30 years, we're still so happy, we're still so in love. That's definitely not true for everyone, and that doesn't make any of those marriages, you know, dysfunctional or wrong, or that they shouldn't, you know, stay together. As with everything, I think it would be really nice for media and movies and everything to just show a more, or explore a more, you know, unique foundation or standard for marriage and different marriages and how they work and relationships, even not marriages. Anyway, I blabbered on about that long enough. I'm going to wrap it up here with the thing I'm mad about today, which is people telling me what to do. Obviously, most people don't like being told what to do. I'm not gonna be like, yeah, but I hate it more than everyone else. But I would say I probably hate it more than the average person. And to be clear, I'm very big on communication, to the point where sometimes I think I feel the need to over communicate. But I'm definitely like the type of person, like, I can't let something go until I've talked about it. I need to talk it through, or at least say my thoughts on it. Otherwise, I'll be holding on to it for literal years. It's crazy how much, like, I want conflict to be resolved always, and I hate conflict and confrontation, whatever. But it's crazy how much just telling people my take and finally, like, stopping being a people pleaser and actually finding the guts and the balls to just say what I feel and, like, say if I'm angry or whatever, say how I actually feel about something, just kind of makes me let go. And then all of a sudden, I might still be upset about this situation. I might still think someone else was in the wrong. I might still think, like, someone might still have hurt me, but I'm just holding on to it less. It's crazy to me. Anyway, I'm big on communication, big on compromise, but I hate people telling me what to do so much. It, like, for some reason, I don't know what it is, but if you tell me what to do, it will make me, like, probably 10 times less responsive to doing anything, which I know is not helpful. I know it's not good, but God, I hate telling me what to do, specifically being told to go to bed. I think the thing about it is I find it really condescending. I'm like, I know when to go to bed. I can find my own bedtime. And, like, if my dad is telling me to go to bed, that's fine. He's my dad. He's supposed to tell me to go to the fuck to bed because I'm staying up too late. And I should be going to bed. And I think maybe because my dad tells me to go to bed, anyone else telling me to go to bed, I'm like, fuck off. I have a dad who tells me to go to bed. I don't need anyone else telling me to go to bed. I do admittedly have a pretty bad sleep schedule in terms of just going to bed quite late, which is fine now, you know, because I'm on holiday, so I get my sleep during the day. I woke up at 12:30 today. It was lovely. During uni, it's definitely not great, but something about, like, I remember once, it was in, like, 7th or 8th grade, my friend told me to go to bed. For some reason, I didn't take it out on her. I didn't yell at her or anything. I kept it all inside, as usual. But it made me so irrationally angry. I was like, no, I'm not going to bed. Because I think the thing is, I know I need to go to bed. It's one of those things, like, people telling me what to do when I know what to do, or I know, like, I can take care of this myself. It feels very condescending, where I'm like, I know what I'm doing. It feels like you're talking down on me like I'm a child, which is honestly probably why most people hate being told what to do. But yeah, I can hear myself. I don't need you telling me what to do. It genuinely can definitely won't ruin my day. It'll just make me pissed off at you. I don't need the condescension. And most people don't even mean anything by it, especially, like, telling you to go to bed, which people haven't really told me to go to bed recently, except for my dad. It just frustrates me because I know it. There's a reason I'm not doing it, or I'm gonna do it, and, like, you telling me to do it makes me feel like I'm, like, the truth behind it is probably it makes me feel stupid, and it makes me feel like less than them. And that's probably why it pisses me off. I remember once, my sister, I tried to do, like, floor work or voice work every day for my, like, voice lessons for my acting career, course, whatever you want to call it. And a while ago especially, but even now, like, I would end up just doing it in the evening because I'd procrastinate it all day. And so over Christmas, I was trying to keep up with it and keep doing it. And my sister told me, oh, this would be a good time to do your floor work. And it pissed me off so much. And I know it's irrational, but I was like, I'll do it when I want to do it. I definitely said something to her because it's my sister, so I can get mad at her. But, like, I don't know what I said to her. Because I knew I should be doing it then. But, like, did I have the motivation to do it then? No, I didn't want to do it then. So I probably didn't do it then. I should have. She was right. Like, I'm not saying these people are wrong. I just don't need to be told. But anyway, I should stop blabbering on about that. Like I said, I'm fluent in Japanese. It's probably the language I'm most fluent in, but I should add it to my list of languages. You know, English, German, Romanian, Spanish, and Japanese. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of the Under the Spotlight podcast. Also, oh my god, I've been editing. Talk about procrastination. I've been editing my Freshers Week vlog, which has been so crazy to see how I felt about the course then, like the interaction I had with people. I was so excited, and it was such a fun week. That vlog should hopefully, yes, the YouTube is making a comeback. Even though I've been posting my podcast on YouTube, the YouTube is making a comeback. I will be back Saturday. I don't know what day that is. Let me find out. Saturday, April 13th. Ooh, Taylor Swift's great favorite number. It's a great day. I will be back Saturday, April 13th with a new vlog, my Freshers Week vlog, which is definitely not 6.5 months late, but it's been really fun to edit. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. It'll be linked down below. If you're already on the YouTube, you can watch this podcast on YouTube. So you should do that. Stay tuned for that video because it's really fun. It's a really good, like, intro to what uni life is like, if you know what I mean. There was absolutely no alcohol consumed in that video. All activities were crazy and wild, fully sober, and we were all behaved super responsibly. And that's what the video is about. I got my nails done yesterday. Very cute. Again, you can't see them if you're not watching the video, so just watch the video. Do anyone else's nails hurt when you get them done, like the first day or two? But it's happened before, and it's, like, nothing's ever gone wrong. I'm not worried about it, but like the nail bed hurt. I really hope you guys enjoyed my fluency in Japanese today. Subscribe to the podcast. It comes out most Wednesdays. It comes out every single Wednesday, for sure. Usually at 1:30 UK time. And I'll see you guys later. Okay, bye!